After consultation with relevant stakeholders, the AFL Commission have approved a number of amendments to the rules and interpretations of the laws of the game for the 2014 Premiership season. In line with the AFL's long-term commitment to players' safety and welfare, these amendments are primarily designed to protect players from injury and to keep the game competitive, entertaining and exciting. Amendments for 2014 have been made to the following areas: forceful contact below the knees, players drawing head contact, protected area, hands in the air interpretation, marking contests. Forceful contact below the knees. In 2014, a free kick will be paid for forceful contact below the knees or any reckless sliding action which is likely to cause injury had contact occurred. Players are encouraged to remain on their feet when attempting to take possession of the ball. The following examples are where players elected to go to ground and made forceful contact with an opponent below the knees. Stratton elects to go to ground and makes forceful contact below the knees of Elliott and is correctly penalised. Palmer elects to go to ground and makes forceful contact below the knees of Cramery and is correctly penalised.
This is the textbook definition of the new rule, really, there.
Cameron elects to go to ground and makes forceful contact below the knees of Clisby and is correctly penalised. In the following two examples, neither McMillan or Hayes makes forceful contact below the knees of their opponents and therefore will not be penalised in 2014. In this case, McVeigh jumps out of the way to avoid possible contact. The action of Hams could be considered reckless and in a manner likely to cause injury. This would be considered a free kick in 2014. The contact below the knees rule will not be applied where players are attempting to smother the ball, attempting to mark the ball, pushed, bumped or tackled to the ground, already on the ground and then reach out for the ball. In the following example, Brown attempts to smother the kick of Bruce and therefore will not be penalised. Drawing head contact. To discourage players from activities that draw forceful head-high contact, the following changes have been approved. Driving the head. A player who is in possession of the ball and drives his head into a stationary or near stationary opponent shall be regarded as having had prior opportunity. He will be required to legally dispose of the ball once tackled. In the following example, Lewis drives his head into a stationary opponent when in possession of the ball. In 2014, he will be required to legally dispose of the ball, otherwise he will be penalised for holding the ball. Ducking. Where a player ducks into a tackle and is the cause of high contact, the umpire will call play on. In the following example, Griffin ducks into the tackle and the umpire correctly calls play on. The onus will continue to lie with the tackler to avoid contact above an opponent's shoulders. Umpires will continue to be instructed to protect the ball player. Protected area. Hands in the air. In 2014, the strict interpretation of hands in the air within the protected area will be removed. The umpire will use his discretion in determining whether a player within the protected area is attempting to delay or impact the player in possession of the ball by having his hands up. All players are encouraged to leave the area in a passive manner without raising their hands. In this example from 2013, Paparone was penalised for having his hands in the air while in the protected area. However, he has no impact on the player in possession of the ball and therefore will not be penalised in 2014. The following examples will result in a 50-metre penalty in 2014. Pavlich remains in the protected area and raises his arms in the air and is deemed to be interfering with the player kicking the ball, resulting in a correct 50-metre penalty. West raises his arms within the protected area, delaying Jamieson from playing on, and is correctly penalised 50 metres.
Put the hands up in the protected area.
Marking contests. The only change to this area in 2014 is an amendment to the wording contained within the law 15.4.5, subsection D. The word unduly has been included and describes any action or actions that are deemed unreasonable and excessive in a marking contest that prevents a player from contesting the ball. Where the umpire deems there is an unreasonable or excessive push, bump, block or hold that prevents an opposition player from contesting the ball, a free kick shall be awarded against the player. Early and or forcible removal of an opponent would be considered unreasonable. Players are permitted to use their bodies in a marking contest as long as the action does not clearly prevent an opponent from contesting the mark. The following examples are all instances of what would be considered legal marking contests. Jones holds his ground. Lonergan manoeuvres his body in a legal manner to take the mark. Pettard uses his body and arms in a legal manner to take the mark.
The kick was weighted perfectly, allowed him to nudge his man under the ball.
Birchall uses his body in a legal manner to take a mark.